Can deep learning do everything? Can we build up general artificial intelligence by using deep learning alone? This is a topic we want to discuss today, and I will give you the short answer first. My answer is no, and I will explain why in this video. Before we dive in, if you would like to receive more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. Your subscription is my greatest support. And let's dive right in. A lot of people are discussing, can deep learning do everything? That's just the decomposed deep learning. There are actually at least 3 types of deep learning. One is supervised learning, which means mapping input to output, mapping X to Y. And there's semi-supervised deep learning, which is between unsupervised and the supervised. And so we probably need to discuss what's unsupervised learning. Unsupervised learning is using the deep learning models to learn the hidden representation, hidden patterns of your data. So now we know there are 3 different types of deep learning, but for the simplicity sake, I will just call it 2 different types: supervised and unsupervised learning. And indeed, we achieve a lot by using supervised learning. The supervised learning is mapping X to Y, and deep learning is very good at this kind of pattern recognition. For example, if you want to do image classification, you just need to have a bunch of images, let's say million, and have every image label. They say maybe this image is dog, that image is cat, and feed this to your deep learning model. And deep learning model can learn that very well and have some very similar performance to human. But I will argue that human does not learn things by fully supervised way. Imagine when you are a kid, maybe sometimes you will point an image or an physical object, and your father will just tell you that there's cat, there's dog, there's computer, there's kind of things. But you do not learn everything by having the answer, right? Sometimes you just explore. So that's where the unsupervised learning comes in. Unsupervised learning basically is to run your deep learning model through all your data, and you will gradually pick up some hidden patterns, some hidden representation of your data. And this is important, and using deep learning, we can achieve supervised and unsupervised learning. But it's still one thing lacking, which is the feedback loop. The feedback loop is like when you doing something, then maybe when you first learn language, you're making some speech sound, and you don't know which one is supposed to be used in your mother tongue. And in the infant period, humans can speak any sounds possible, so they will just make any kind of random sound. But because of your parents, your family members give you feedback, when you make the sounds, let's say English, that's really speech sound in English, then your parents will encourage you to make you more. So in that scenario, you don't know the answer, but you know if this action you are taking is good or not. So you have the feedback, positive and the negative feedback. Then you will gradually modify your behavior according to the positive feedback. You want to have more positive feedback. Maybe your parents will encourage you or give you some candies. And the negative feedback, maybe they will just say, don't do that anymore. So you will try to avoid that kind of penalty. And gradually, by doing this kind of iteration, you will improve your learning. You will improve your ability of speaking language more. You will make more sounds that's only in English. So gradually, after a few years, you don't know how to speak other speech sounds other than English speech sounds. So that's how humans learn. And in machine learning, we call this reinforcement learning. It's just the way to get a feedback and feed the model and do it again and again and again. Imagine when you maybe are a baby, when you are a kid, you explore your environment. Then you firstly don't understand how to navigate in your house. But gradually, when you do some navigation, you find out certain place you can go to, certain place you couldn't go to, which is like you hit a wall, so you couldn't move forward. Then you understand, if you see the wall, you will not keep going. you will stop and turn right or turn left. It kind of learning by getting feedback, by interacting with the environment. This is what we call reinforcement learning. So how can we achieve artificial intelligence? I think deep learning is a very important component to achieve artificial intelligence, because deep learning can provide us unsupervised learning and supervised learning mechanisms. But we must combine reinforcement learning with deep learning. So that's why deep learning alone will not solve the problem. But deep learning plus reinforcement learning is a good candidate. But I will still argue that's not enough, because at least in the current reinforcement learning setup, because now we basically can use the reinforcement learning model to do self-driving car, but the model need to kind of crash the car for maybe 10,000, 1 million times to learn how to drive. Humans do not learn driving that way. Human basically don't crash car even one time to learn how to drive, right? So that's most something that is missing in the machine learning techniques. That's also a very active research area. People are constantly seeking the answer how to make the reinforcement learning more efficient. That's a topic. So I believe we are missing some conceptual breakthrough. We are missing some algorithm breakthrough. Before we really discover that, I don't really think the general artificial intelligence is that easy to achieve. Maybe people will argue that GPT-3, which is a language model, is very good at writing some beautiful language, but it's actually not really cohesive, and it's still lacking the ability to reason. Yeah, some people show that GPT-3 can do some addition, multiplication, but that's still far away from human-level reasoning. By just reading the English text, which is what GPT-3 does in the training time, basically is to predict the next word, giving the content, then predict the next word. This is just not the way that humans learn. Even some people argue that GPT-3 can achieve very high-level intelligence, but I will really say GPT-3 already read almost the whole English text in the internet. That will be really hard for people to scale to GPT-20, because we just don't have that much data. And even we have, there's just not an efficient way to achieve artificial intelligence. Maybe we'll have certain level of intelligence, but I doubt it will come close to human level. And I don't mean that we cannot achieve general artificial intelligence, just means that the current deep learning methods is just not enough. And even plus the reinforcement learning, it will still not be enough yet. We need some conceptual breakthrough, and I don't know the answer yet, and I also want to know the answer. So that's just to try to find that, or let's just try to find that. It's a community. That will be super interesting. And that's all for today. If you would like to receive more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. Basically, it's about technology review, deep learning things. So that's all for today. And I will see you next time.